Hello everybody, it's Jama Malmi, and today I have 28 and a half scrapbook layouts to share with you. That half comes from one of my favorite ways to add extra photos to my layouts. That will be just a couple layouts in. I've got all sorts of layouts. They are all 12 by 12. Some of them are on my channel, the most recent ones. This is the last one I shared. So we'll go through those. And then I found a bunch of layouts in a scrapbook as I was adding layouts to it that I never shared with you. So I thought I would do that. There are some pocket pages in here. They are all 12 by 12, and then a lot of kit layouts that are so quick to put together that I don't usually share those all on my channel. I've shared some of them, so you've seen some of them, but let's just go ahead and dive in. All right, so this first layout, like I mentioned, this is the most recent process video on my channel. This uses the Hope and Kindness collection, which is gorgeous, but my favorite part of this is the little holographic mat behind each of the photos. And I hope that the camera is picking that up. It is just so gorgeous, but it's hard to appreciate on camera. You can see it a little bigger over here because over there I left a little bit more of a mat around that vertical line. So love how this turned out. In this process video, I shared tips on creating clusters. If you have trouble layering up your embellishments, then there's tips in there for that, some stamping. And then also I originally only did one layout and decided to add some extra photos, so I shared tips on how to turn it into a cohesive 2-page layout. So I will leave a playlist linked down in the description below with all of the videos that have process videos. So if you missed any of these and want to catch them, just click that playlist link and you can watch any of the ones that you missed. So in this process video, I shared ways to add a lot of extra photos. So pardon the glare over here, but I wanted to show you how this flip flap works. I use these a lot here on my channel to add extra photos to my layouts, and they are really easy to use and adhere to your pages. And they're just really fun and interactive. So that was part of this video, and then this is where that half page comes in. This is my next favorite way to add extra photos to my layouts, this little pocket plus insert. I will link these products down in the description below if you want to grab them for yourself. They are awesome. These come in 4x6 vertical, or portrait and landscape, and then also 3x4 portrait and landscape styles. So they're another awesome way to add extra photos to your layout. But this also uses that same Hope and Kindness collection, and the focus of this video was creating all of these fun layered mountains. This was the May stamp of the month, so it is no longer available, unfortunately, but it was really fun to create these Rocky Mountains for this hike in the Colorado Rockies. So again, this will be listed in that playlist if you want to catch the process video. This layout started as a pre-designed kit, but I added a lot to it, all these fun balloons and these glittery die cuts, and so I really customized it to work for my photos. I added more photos than they called for. So my favorite part of these is the balloons and these stars, and I shared how I use this slimline die to cut it apart and create my own little star cluster embellishments. So it's just a great way to stretch your dies, and I feel like stars are just such a perfect embellishment to add to any layout. If you don't want to use flowers, then the stars can really fill that place. These balloons were really fun to create, and I shared how I created these little strands out of paper. And so yeah, I will add this to the playlist as well if you want to catch that video. This is a single layout using a really bright, vibrant kit called Fresh Paint, which is still currently available. And I drew the inspiration for this layout from this one here. So this was another pre-designed, pre-cut kit. I put it together, added my own little enhancements because I just can't help that. I changed it up a little bit, added a little stamping here, and I shared how I did that in the process video. And then I took that same idea with these circles and I used it for these photos over here, but I, created everything myself. This wasn't a kit, so I cut all of these circles with a 2-inch punch. I happened to have this circle photo, and so that, or stickers, so that went perfectly. And then added some stamped images that I die cut out, some stickers from a sticker pack, and I showed how to get this two-toned look on your stamping. So I will also link this video down in that playlist. This layout also uses that same fresh paint collection. So you'll notice the stamping here has that two-tone look, and actually this is the video where I shared exactly how to get that look, and then that last layout I used my leftovers from here. So this was all cut on the Cricut, and I also included a tutorial on how I stretched this Cricut design, which was designed to be a 6x8 layout, and I stretched it to become a 12x12 layout. So this has lots of fun clustered stickers and those stamped embellishments. These were all created with stamps, these stars and hearts here, all stamps. So that was really fun. And then look at the dripping paint. That's part of the stamp set as well. So again, this photo or this layout is linked in the description below. This was a super fun layout to put together. I had this design or this idea in my head for a long time to use with this photo of my friend and I for a crafty weekend, and finally came together with some fun stamping in the background to give sort of a mixed media look. And then I actually did some mixed media in the background with some distress oxide, and all of these beautiful, lovely, glittery flowers are just so pretty. This layered flower die set is one of my absolute favorites. I absolutely love it. And look at that fun dimension that you get. There's so many ways to layer up these flowers. And then I dug through my stash and found some crafting stamps that are quite old, but that was fun to pull those out. And then did a little tearing, and putting some Harbor glitter paper under there was really fun too. So, and then also all of these layers behind here, just lots of fun stuff going on. This was really fun, and I will have this process video in that playlist as well. Okay, here is a Cricut designed layout. This is another one of those where I took a smaller layout that was pre-designed in Cricut Design Space, and I stretched it to a 12x12. So this was an 8.5x11 page. I changed it and modified a little bit, shared how I did that in the process video, and created this 12x12 layout. This cardstock I used has a glossy UV coating on it. It's no longer available, but that was super fun. And this is just a really fun layout. The process is linked in that playlist. I think this might be my favorite layout that I'm sharing. This was part of a collaboration with the creative design team where we shared tips for layering. And so I shared 4 ways to layer on a scrapbook page. And so if you want to find out exactly what those 4 things are, check out the playlist below where this is linked. But I did some stenciling back there and some splattering of the black shimmer. I hope you can see that shimmer. I love our shimmer brushes because they are perfect for splatters. You get that color. It comes in lots of colors, but then there's also just like a really like a micro fine glitter shimmer to it as well. There's some stickers on here, some die cuts, some paperboard, chipboard pieces, layers under the photo. I had used a sketch for this, so I just absolutely adore how this turned out. And then of course this photo of my daughter is just perfection. I mean, look at that little pouty face. I love it. All right, so this is part of the playlist listed below. All right, now we're getting into some layouts that I have not shared before. I was putting some layouts in my daughter's first year album and ran across some that I hadn't shared with you before, and this is one of those. This uses the brushed paper collection, which was available, years and years ago, and then it also came back as a bring back my pack. So some of you may have the more recent version. So here are some ideas to use that. This is a stamp set that originally came with that. So if you have that in your stash, I absolutely loved this. And I love the Oh So Happy title here. This is some washi tape to create sort of a little shelf for that title, and then a little embellishment cluster coming out of it. This was stamped and cut out. And this was part of the workshop kit. All of Close to My Heart's collections also have a scrapbook workshop available where it comes with a guide for 3 2-page layouts. So you can follow the guide to create the 3 2-page layouts exactly as designed if you are someone who kind of just likes to follow directions, or if you're like me and it's really hard to follow directions. They are also pretty easy to kind of customize and make your own. Now, I actually had followed these pretty closely to the directions, but I think I added an extra photo here. I just love how this turned out. There's some stenciling behind here. And then here is the close-up at the other page. This is like a 2-tone stamping on these butterflies. Another leaf that was cut out. We used to have these really fun metal embellishments. I love those. Here's a fun idea. When you stamp a sentiment and just stamp it, and then without re-inking, just keep stamping it over and over to create sort of a subtitle over here. That was a really fun technique. So there's that one. Here's another layout from that same first year album of my daughter. I like the look of this, how I created a Polaroid look. Now this is actually like, I had this photo printed as a collage. So the photo is actually 4x4 and this is all flat. And then I cut out a square from this paper and it's backed behind there. You could also just lay it on top, but I wanted it to be backed behind like a frame, like a Polaroid. And then just cut this section longer and added the little title here, or I guess that's a subtitle. Here's the title, to give that Polaroid look. And then it looked a little alone on the page, so I added this behind it. This is a piece of cardstock that I just stamped happy, happy, happy all over it to create my own patterned paper. And this is a stamp, and this title is a stamp using just an alphabet. So this was a fun layout, and there's some sequins and silver glitter gems. I don't know if you've seen the silver glitter gems before up close. Sometimes I forget to show them so up close, but they're really fun. Lots of glitter in there, and they come in 3 different sizes in the pack. So here is a layout I created for my daughter's 11-month photo shoot. I got some really cute photos of her in the backyard. I loved this. I used just a mishmash of stuff from my stash, and then I had a whole bunch of other photos that were so cute that I decided to add, and I created a pocket page for those. So in my albums, I have no problem adding a 12x12 with a pocket page next to it. The pocket pages are just slightly bigger because of the seams, but you can see that these still go together. And I am mostly a 2-page scrapbooker, but I also do 1 pages, and it doesn't bother me if the page next to it doesn't, match exactly and it's not a whole spread. I use a D-ring album, not a postbound, so they're not really close to each other anyway. And that just works for me because I scrapbook out of order, and it's just easier to slip in all of my layouts, with the D-ring album. So that's why I do it that way. But this really does, complement the layout and create a spread, even though it is pocket pages too. And so I just, added a whole bunch of photos and then added a few pockets with just paper. So this is the same paper as over here. I gutted the back. So this paper is just part of what I saved from behind here. And then I have the title over here. So really love how that turned out. I think this was from Project Life, some embellishments from Project Life. These are some wooden embellishments that I colored with an alcohol marker. This is another great way to use the shimmer brushes because they will also work on wood and add some shimmer. So this was fun. Here's another pocket page, and again, so sorry for the glare. Something else I wanted to point out is that I do my embellishing on top of the page usually when I do pocket pages. I don't do pocket pages a lot, but I do like the look of it intermixed in my album, and especially when my kids were like super young and I just had like so many photos and I couldn't narrow them down. It's easier now when I do the ones from longer ago, but in the moment it's you want to include everything, but especially these ones, they were all so cute of my daughter playing with my dog. He loved to play ball, and now these photos and this page is so special because this dog is gone now and he was our little baby. So I love having this to look back on. Here is a 2-page spread of pocket pages, and I designed these much like I would a regular scrapbook page, so they still have flow across the page. So I've got this damask print in the baby carrier that I had here and here, and I carried that over here and here. I didn't feel like I needed this pattern again over here, but I kept with the same color theme. I've got black and white for all the pocket cards, and then those photos really pop and also tie in with the photos. I did a little bit of red accents because of the inside of this little baby carrier as well. So it's got flow across the page. The way I place the photos, I lay everything out on top of the pages before I start. Make sure that there's flow with all the colors. So my husband's wearing yellow. We've got the yellow carrying throughout the page evenly. It's mostly on this page, but still sprinkled over here and draws your eye over here. The red draws your eye over as well. But I think that the photos still are the star of the show. Again, I have embellished on top. That's really because in pocket pages, you don't have as much space in those pockets. So I like the especially bulkier embellishments to be sitting on top. This was back when Close to My Heart's pocket cards were rounded corners, so I rounded all the corners of my photos too. I really don't care for that, and glad that that's not how it's done anymore, but I didn't like them kind of mixed. So anyways, there's that layout. Here's the last pocket spread, and this is one of my favorite spreads in her entire album. And I really, of course, I love these photos. They were really great photos. I love the black and white with pops of pink in these pocket cards. There's some gold foiling on them as well, which was fun. But same with these photos. I'm wearing the blue sweater. My sister-in-law's wearing a blue sweater, so that blue is really like carried through the page evenly. These ones where there's no blue are kind of like anchors in the top and the bottom, and everything just flows across. I thought that this black and white stripe went well with this oversized zebra bow that I made her. I love that bow. Isn't that so adorable? I hope that I'm not getting too much glare. But yeah, I loved putting oversized bows on her. It was so funny. And look at her little fingers like waving. She did that all the time when she slept. It was so cute. So anyways, notice also on these ones, even though the pocket cards have rounded corners, I did not round the corners on this. So I ended up not really liking it after I did it on that other one. But, you know, our scrapbooks are full of different, you know, trends for the time that we created them, right? So there's that one. All right, now we're getting into some layouts that I created with kits, and I don't always share these on my channel. I have shared a handful of them, but they're just so quick and easy to put together that oftentimes I'll just like whip them up real quick, and so this hasn't been shared. This is from the Cut Above Layout Kit, Memories in the Making. I don't think this one is available anymore. It was really old, but there are still 2 kits just like this, but with different patterns that are still available. It's created to be a calendar kit, but I don't use it that way. I just use these pages as scrapbook pages and put them together. So this is actually the layout that you see here, and you can see that I changed up the photo placement. So instead of the 2 vertical photos here, I had some landscape orientation photos to add, and I even had one more photo that I added on here. So now that this is in the page protector, I have the flip flap and hidden journaling added to the outside of this page protector, so that these are the 2 top photos I wanted showing, and you can lift up and have that fun little flap to show this group photo underneath. Now I haven't done the companion page to this yet, and you can see that these are not you know, 2-page layout. So if you're a double scrapbooker, this might be a little more difficult for you, but if I want to do a 2-page layout, like see how some of these patterns are the same? I would take this, and I think I even, yeah, I made a note. So I have the arrows here showing to that when I create this to put these together, because this element here, if this is over on the right page, it helps make it cohesive because you're drawing some of those same elements over. And then there were some other flowers on some of the other pages that I'll probably also pull over for this, and that will bring all of those elements over to the right hand page. So that's just a little tip to use these kits if you want to make them as 2-page layouts. Something other people have done is they order 2 kits, and then they use this layout and this layout again for the right and left, and maybe just change them up a little bit. And so that would be a little bit easier. Here's the other ones. I actually took this layout here and stretched it to create a 2-page layout using just these pieces. I think I cut this rainbow stripe paper, spread it across the page. I will list this video in that same playlist down linked below because that actually, I ended up liking my 2-page layout even better than this. Here's another layout from that same kit, and I put it together pretty much exactly as it told me to. So I have the same size photos and photo placement. I just changed up the embellishments. Instead of stars, I did some extra sequins because that went with my photos a little bit better. And then I added this heart up here from somewhere else. So this is very simple. This is just 2 layers that were already cut, a sticker, and this whole base page was already printed on there. So this and this are the same paper, but it still looks really cute, right? Here's another one from that kit. It's got some of those same flowers as we saw on a previous layout. And here is that original. You can see I kept pretty much to the design. I added an extra little photo here where they would have had this little sentiment. I added the same tag. I put a couple little extra banners here to add a little bit more emphasis up in this little cluster up here, but still I kept it very simple. This is printed right on the backdrop, and even though I was able to add an extra photo, I still kept it simple. I love the focus being on this photo. My daughter was scared of the school pictures. This was preschool. She's got a little tear right there. It's so sweet. But yeah, so there's another kit layout that's still super cute, even though it was super easy. Here is another kit layout that I changed up the photos quite a bit. So here is the original. So this flower is printed on the base page, and this kind of diamond shape is printed on there. So this was an extra embellishment that I added, and I popped it up on foam. I added some extra sequins and gems, and then I added 3 extra photos. So called for 2 landscape orientation photos here. They look about like 3.5 by 5 maybe, or 4 by 5, not quite 4 by 6. And so instead I put a vertical photo that gave me a little bit of extra room on the sides, and I was able to kind of tuck these little photos in here as the little 2x2s. So just another way to stretch these kits and make them work for more photos. All right, we've got this and one more. This is another kit layout. I'm doing all kit layouts here at the end, which, as you see, I really kept very similar. I just changed the placements of some of the butterflies. I liked the way that this was a little bit better, kind of worked better with my photos and the white space that I had. So they're just kind of tucked around there. And then I've got another one of these flowers down here on some foam to give it a little dimension. Still kept this very simple. It was super, super fast to put together. I mean, we're talking like 15 minutes. And because all the pieces are pre-cut and everything. And another page for my layout of just some everyday memories. All right, last layout. This is from the same kit. I also kept this very close to the original design. You can see that here. I really have all of the embellishments placed the same. I added this little subtitle, so it says my happy place is with my family. And then the only thing I added were a little bit of enamel dots and sequins and some sparkles around, just because I like that extra little dimension, but still kept this very simple. If you saw my style when I scrapbook from scratch at the beginning of this video, this is much simpler than that, but I still love doing this because it's kind of like, bonus scrapbooking to me. It's layouts that were so much faster to put together, and I can get more memories documented this way. So if you like more minimal pages, or you just have a need to get a whole bunch of pages done really quickly, then these are really great kits, and I will link all of the kits that are like this down below. I really hope you got some good ideas today. If you did, give this video a like and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet. I've got that playlist linked right here along with another video I think you might enjoy. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful day.